Hey, what's going on, Internet? Ahnaris here with another exciting Starcraft 2 broadcast. Today we're going to be watching the first game in the best-of-3 match series between Liquid HerO, the red Protoss spawning down in the bottom right position, facing off against PuMa of Team Evil Geniuses, the blue Terran down in the bottom left here today on Ahnaris Plateau. Now, this game is from the IPL Season 3 Championship round, and it is one of several replays that was recently released. I'm so excited about all of these, but these games in particular, because PuMa and HerO are two of my favorite StarCraft 2 players. You know, PuMa came over to Evil Geniuses, has just been rocking the house for as long as he's been there. HerO, ever since I saw his first game where he fought against that Zerg that I coined Zergaroni Beef McGivens or something like that, he has just totally stole my StarCraft 2 e-heart, and he plays Protoss too, so I mean, how amazing is that, right? So I totally am rooting for both of these guys here. I mean, how can you have a better match than two of some of your favorite players? So if you hear me just randomly go "ee" at some point in the video, then you know my little childish screams are just pretty much being so excited to watch these players duke it out. So here on Ahnaris Plateau, with the spawn positions being what they are, I think that we could see a good macro fight with hopefully lots of drops. You know, obviously PuMa is going to want to try to drop a bunch of Marines all around the different bases because, you know, he's so close by air that there's just this one little chasm going to hop over with the smiley face minerals. And, you know, of course, HerO is going to be scouting out this position first. Now, PuMa opening up with a 1-Rax gas build. This could be leading into, oh, intercepted. It could be leading into possibly a 1-1-1 or some sort of style of play involving that. But we'll see what happens here as HerO is going to try to keep this probe in as long as possible. Basically, when you come in here with this probe, you want to try to just stick around, spot, okay, are the SCVs being transferred off of gas after a while? If not, you know, what is it going to be dropping down? And we're going to see a factory. We do have a Marine on the way, so this is going to be a short-lived scouting expedition. Eventually, it will get taken out. Oh, where the probe make it? No, he decides to stay in there. Okay, well, actually, that's a really good idea because, again, HerO wants to know, all right, since gas is continued to be mined, yes, he can keep this probe long enough, he can possibly come up here and see if there's going to be an add-on for this. No, but he does spot the factory going down, so that does indeed kind of lend itself to the theory like we were talking about earlier. So PuMa going ahead and opening up with a factory, looking back over at, wait a minute, he canceled it. Oh man, he canceled the factory. Very smart move by PuMa, completely throwing HerO off base. Now HerO is going to build up and pretty much anticipate a one-base early play. But I want to point out, for a while there, it looked like he was starting to want to save up some money. If you watch the minimap, we were talking about the Terran, you saw that Protoss did not have any gas until he started scouting out with the probe and saw, okay, working on 1 gas right now. Probably a good idea once this factory is dropped down to get some gas coming in here really quickly, work on getting that warp gate technology, getting some units out in the field, trying to get that zealot, and looking around here, I think we do have 1 stalker right there running around midfield. This lucky SCV managed to escape the wrath just oh so barely, and now HerO is going to be heading out across the map. What he wants to do is he wants to get this stalker and basically just pop up the ramp, you know, take a quick peek and see what he can determine. If there's been any changes, we can actually just see the vision right there, and you see he's only seen the barracks and the factory, has not seen that command center. That's just about complete. But when he pops up here, as we'll show you right now, bam, so he comes up, he does not see the command center, he doesn't, you know, explore the area with the factory. All he sees is a reactor and a bunker. 2 signs that, again, point to that 1-1-1 style of play. And so you're going to see him preparing for it. You see he does have a Stargate, a second gateway, as well as that warp gate technology just about complete. He is trying to pick off that SCV, but not before PuMa discovers that Stargate, and now he can anticipate some Phoenix or Void Ray harassment. Against a Terran player, it's most likely going to be Phoenix, and that's because he knows that having shown the factory the way he did, oh, but now, of course, the Protoss player is going to realize, hey, wait a minute, what happened to the fact? Oh, I see what you did there. But no, he knows that by forcing HerO to assume that a 1-1-1 is coming, he knew that there was going to be very likely Phoenix, which, I mean, again, very good unit for dealing with lifting up tech and pretty much just ninja harassing mineral lions like we're seeing right here. It is going to be lifting up the mule, which just was dropped a second or two ago. That is actually pretty substantial mineral loss there for PuMa. But overall, I think both players are still in fairly good positions, as we do have a little bit of a pause, and of course the SCV transfer right there. The factory is now going down as we see a total of 3 barracks. We look at the upgrades and we see Stim is not even started yet, still trying to get his infrastructure up, really does not have the gas income for it, just recently started mining it once again. So he does have a concussive shells upgrade. This is looking like a very standard bio play. Nice delaying of the factory there, trying to at least delay eventually medevacs for at least a moment or two. But you know, the biggest thing here is that he sniped not 1 but 2 mules in the early and mid game. As we do take a look back at HerO's base, we see an expansion about 75–80% complete, and we see he's warping in just pretty much a lot of sentries. This is not at all surprising. It's a very cheap, effective unit. When I say cheap, I mean it costs only 50 minerals, and of course the 100 gas is where you kind of have that offset. But when you're trying to build up your economy like HerO is, you really want to try to get as much money out of you know, your mining as possible and have a minimal amount of forces. So the force fields also will buy enough time for HerO to warp in a wave of units if he needs to. But with double gateway and a forge on the way, we can expect to see some upgrades coming fairly soon, probably +1, and maybe not so much more. Maybe not so many more units produced out of that Stargate. Now that he kind of realizes, you know what, hey, I've been fooled. But he's not in such a bad position that it's really going to delay him, you know, to the point where it could cost him the game. Either way, any little advantage counts, and of course HerO does have the probe up here. Just pretty much, he could drop a pylon somewhere over here and use it as a staging position for harassing the 3rd base whenever it goes up. Now, taking a look back over here at HerO, we see he's double muling at the natural, where he's keeping a lot of Marines, rather. Notice how he is keeping his army nice and split up. That's very smart move. A lot of newer players, they'll try to, you know, they'll 1A their entire armed forces and pretty much just try to catch the Phoenix. But, you know, Marines, they're decently fast, but, of course, Phoenix do have the advantage of not really having to worry about terrain the way that Marines do, so it can be rather difficult for them to try to catch up. But when you have enough Marines in the mineral line like this, it's really easy to negate most of that harassment potential for HerO. Taking a look at the income right now, 45 to 43. As we look here, we still haven't had any drops or anything like that. I mean, at this point, I think that PuMa knows trying to pull off something like that, probably not the best decision, because you've got those Phoenix running around, and they are still, you know, continuing to delay production in the base. Very quick response from the Marines. He's stimming. That's not that huge of a deal. I mean, he does have, he stimmed again. Well, nope, there we go. Never mind, he did not. It was actually just wearing off there. But, you know, it's very interesting how much damage that HerO is actually able to do with these 2 Phoenix. You saw, okay, yes, I was forced into a transition, into a 1-base Stargate play, anticipating that early attack, but I've got to make the best of it somehow, and, you know, he did. He made he destroyed 2 mules. He's delayed several production facilities from being, you know, fully constructed. And overall, he is still continuing to produce the Phoenix, and I think this is because he realizes that he can, you know, kind of close the gap with this. And also, more importantly, he is anticipating drop play, and having these Phoenix around here along with the Stalker means that he will be able to catch up to a medevac here very quickly if it does decide to pop out. So he is going to continue to maintain that air superiority and just kind of generally dissuade PuMa from you know, going for that harassment style play. Total stutter moment there. But my vocal stutter micro is apparently not up to task, as we see PuMa continuing to run around midfield with a decent sized force. But look at what's coming out now for Liquid HerO. A lot of sentries, even more zealots, and you know, I think if it came down to it, he does not have the charge upgrade. Probably not a good idea to directly engage this, as with the stim and medevac support, they would be able to kite away and do a lot of damage to those zealots. But we see the turret now, the Marines are free to roam around a little bit more, but I don't think that PuMa is quite anticipating this many Phoenix coming back into the base. The fact that he's got, like, what, 6 of them right now? Yeah, 6 means that those nice little Marine light squads are not going to be able to defend against this Phoenix harassment, which you know, obviously the turrets are going to be able to protect the mineral lines, but still, if he wants to come in there and snipe a mule, he can certainly do exactly that. Now, the biggest thing here is HerO has to make sure these Phoenix pay for themselves. By dedicating all this additional gas and minerals into this, he needs to basically try to do what he's doing right now, which is camping the starport, picking up a couple additional Marines, and now working on taking out these medevacs. That's actually pretty huge right now. This will delay any sort of push out, at least for a moment or two. Because we see, though at least that's his intention, we of course can see there are 5 medevacs in the field, which would be enough to hold his own in a fight. Maybe not a good idea to try to, you know, charge up here the natural, where the terrain would be working against him, but in a straight up 1v1, if he's able to land some EMPs, I think we could see him come out ahead. Ghosts are in a forward position, but we see the Zealots are retreating as well. Engagement has been averted, at least for the time being. And now with HerO with map control, I still think he's in a pretty good spot right now, even though the supply count is just so super close. There's one EMP managed to clip off, I think, some of the shields. No, that one was actually already dead. But no, here comes the Zealots charging in. Now HerO is actually in a pretty darn good spot. See there? That is really going to work against the Protoss. HerO, his force fields, pretty much he wanted to try to sandwich those off, but he ended up not quite getting a whole bunch. He took out a few Marauders. That's about it. Ultimately, I think the Terran was able to fire off a lot of shots from behind the safety of those force fields, and that's why HerO was ultimately forced to retreat. Now, I do want to point out in the meantime that we do have a pylon over here. It's just been kind of sitting around. We do have a third base that is turned into a planetary fortress. Very smart move there. And one idle SCV. Pretty much, I think we'll just chalk that up to everybody gets one. Everybody gets one rule. Now, we do have also PuMa continuing to face this Phoenix harassment. He's actually handling it pretty well. I think he does have a very strong force here in his base right now. It is unfortunately a little clumped up right there, trying to get around. But look at this. I like what HerO decided to do. Nice force fields. He was using the Phoenix harassment as a means of getting the army all bogged up in here in that choke position. And now he's going to be able to essentially just cut this army into pieces bit by bit. But the problem is he doesn't have a lot himself. Most of his army consists of these light support units and the meat shields. He doesn't have a lot in the way of just direct damage. So he could actually lose a lot of this horse right here. He wants to try to engage way back in the middle ground, so that way the Terran does not have a choke position. Nice force fields going down. A lot of these Marines are going to end up dying. However, I think the rest of this is just going to get mopped up here momentarily, as it is indeed running away. He's not even going to try to give his horse more kills. Oh, he does finally drop down the last of his force fields. But yeah, there we go. HerO finally losing the bulk of his forces. Let's just take a look at the units lost right now. Look at the resources, rather. 6750 to 6770. And I want to point out also that while this has transpired, HerO has also been able to get up his own third base and get it saturated. And with these Phoenix still intact and a ton of Zealots, we could see him try to engage once again, although I don't know if that's going to be such a wise decision. Although he does have the High Templar, he needs to get those in here and start doing Psystorm, or else he's just going to keep on kiting away, and he's never going to be able to get into a position where this storm can be effective. Yes, the Zealots were able to just keep the Terran army occupied for so long, but you see that one last crucial storm was not able to finish him off, and we're going to see those Phoenix just popped off ever so slowly, picking up the Marines one at a time, but they are running out of energy. Only one still capable of lifting up the Marines, and unfortunately does have 16 hit points. As far as income is concerned right now, 64 to 51, you see the Protoss is sitting in a commanding lead for minerals and gas, but that could actually go away very quickly as we see the Marines running up there trying to take out the Phoenix and now work on this expansion. The Nexus should actually go down. We see a response from HerO, but it is not that strong. He should be able to get those probes away. No, he is going to try to engage. We see there's the blanket EMPs. This Terran has an amazing position right now behind the minerals, using the terrain to his advantage. Nice little choke point there. We do have a wave of Zealots warping in, but unfortunately, a lot of damage was already done there. Having lost so many workers, 42 to 51, there goes that lead we were talking about earlier. And we do see the probe sitting up here getting ready to possibly expand. The High Templar being warped in, anticipating possibly being able to either just, well, no, pretty much just be able to feed back. And, you know, obviously they don't have any energy, so not going to be able to do anything of that sort. Looking at the units tab, we can now see the Protoss army is not looking so good. He has a couple High Templar and 76 to 98, so both players got knocked down really low during that last engagement. But I think Terran still came out ahead. He's managed to keep his Ghost. He's got a lot of Medivacs, good Marine support, as well as a few Marauders. And as he moves forward, it looks like he's actually getting ready to drop once again. Where is he going to be going this time, though? We see that this is, again, quite vulnerable. This expansion is still intact, though, and that's a big thing right now. The fact that HerO was able to get up his expansion, that's good. He is going to be a little bit behind in that area. We see he's riding the bottom of the barrel as Protoss is definitely sitting on a little bit more minerals floating around right now. But he's also down by about 20 supply. There comes the scout, or there goes the scout rather, as HerO is looking to check on this fourth and final base. On the left side of the map, we can see that there's going to be a drop here and coming in just a moment. That could be looking to come up here once again as the Nexus has dropped down. I mean, like I said earlier, you know, the fact that those dropships flew over the probe when it was just sitting here at that base really kind of told PuMa, you know what, I'm looking to expand here. I want to get this going, and you know, I'm committing some forces up there to defending that. But now some time has passed. He could be looking to just go ahead and engage that again. He could force a cancellation. It is right now about 40% complete. There's the drop right there. As we see, HerO's forces are just sitting midfield. He could be trying to go for this again, but no, he spots the expansion being under attack, and he will be able to go and react, I think, but not before losing it. He might be able to... oh man, this is going to be close, but no, yep, there goes the Terran. Finally able to take that out. Oh, canceled. So there you go. Flawless execution, stemmed up to victory. Looking at the APM right now, we have 151 to 140, and as far as resources lost now, you see there's about a 2K gap there. Over to the production tab, we see robotics facility on the way, as well as Blink armor level 2, and continuing that high Templar production. We do have that dropship now just skirting along the edge of the map as Protoss looks like he's going to be moving out. HerO is still in the midfield. He doesn't quite he doesn't quite have enough to really assert himself here in the midfield. So if Terran wants to come and take it like he just did, he's going to be forced to fall back and basically just defend his three bases. It's very important that he keeps this one, especially since the fact that it is very low in hit points. And I think that that dropship now is going to be coming down here. We watch the two armies as they get closer. You see Protoss has been pushed back. There's nothing here to stop these probes from getting taken out. He will have to run those back if he's not going to be able to bring any units in time. There we go. And now Terran, you see, is actually moving once again, realizing, you know what, if I can have an opportunity to cause the Terran player to move, then I'm going to do it, or the Protoss to move, rather. Then I'm going to do it. Maybe catch him out of position. But you see this was cleaned up rather quickly, but not before this was canceled. So double observer on the way from this robotics facility as the Terran continues to move out. Guardian Shield has been hit in anticipation of attack. Uh-oh, there goes HerO losing a full mana High Templar, as well as a couple forces getting picked off. There goes one Archon. 4 hit points. That is insane, but now you see he's nice and tightly bunched up, so another EMP or two will be able to affect that entire army. As he does move out, there goes the scouting Marauder. Spots the unit composition. I think he knows he's in a pretty darn good spot. Coming over, landing some EMPs, trying to do anything that he can. Sniping off the High Templar as well. So he's just pretty much whittling down this army bit by bit. We saw several feedbacks there. Good unit control on that. But ultimately, I think the Terran is just going to be able to move in here and rip some face up, man. I mean, if the Protoss can manage to land some really sexy Psystorms like that one right there was beautiful, folks. Oh, man, that reduced the army count by quite a good bit. But this could be the final battle, folks. I'm not too sure. We see that, again, Terran is just cleaning up shop. The Zealots have come in to reinforce, but, oh, man, this is getting down to the wire. So very close. We do have a bunch of reinforcements as well. Yep, just a few Zealots getting knocked out there, and HerO trying to clean up the medevac, but the Vikings landing and able to finish up the Zealots. One last wave of units coming in, but we see reinforcements coming over the side of the map from PuMa. He should be able to clean up this expansion, and if it goes down, I think it's going to be GG right there, as he is going to only be mining off of one base. Terran is going to be mining off of 1.5 right now. But the difference is he has just got such a better army that he can, you know, assert himself over here in the battlefield and continue to deny the income. As we look at it right now, actually, we see it's just going to drop down super quick. And, of course, this one expansion is operational. But again, like I was saying a minute ago, it's going to be GG, because once this is gone, then nothing is stopping the Terran player from just coming up here and finishing off the rest of the probes, leaving this. I mean, that's just how it was going to end up. So that is going to be game number 1, folks. I do hope you enjoyed it. As we move on to game number 2 of the IPL Season 3 Championship rounds, I hope that hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.